of the stuff that the first one that I keep talking about is the idea of curiosity. Curiosity is something that you develop over time. Being curious about problems that you perceive and how can you constantly try and fix it. That's a curiosity that you develop over time. And the second thing that you develop is diligence. Whatever you do, you kind of have an attention to detail and want to do it to a certain level of perfection, a certain level of quality. And that's another thing that you kind of get. The third one, which is kind of important, is to look everything from a human perspective. So kind of humanize everything, because it is finally what you're doing is for people. So I would say three things are being curious, being diligent, and being human. Those are the three things that I learned over time, and I would say that is important for being a good designer. Design, if you look at it, it is ability to take something abstract and make something concrete out of it. A brief that comes to you, or a want or a need that is there out there, is generally an abstraction, and it's kind of written as a very, very small brief, and then you move it towards something tangible and something concrete, right? And during this process, what you always do is to kind of look at the conceptual and tactical. Conceptual is the ability to think wide and deep as much as you can, while tactical is ability to construct things using tools, using even frameworks and small devices that you can use to make this. I think what is going to be impacted very heavily is the tactical part, that it's just for the good of the designer. The tactical part will be impacted well, because there are lots of stuff that took time to take your idea and convert it into something real, something tangible, depended on how good you were in that specific tool. And that's something AI can solve very well right now. And it's actually make it repetitive and make your own workflows of sort that fits in very well into it. And you can use multiple generative AIs and even things like large language models and ability to create stuff out of machine language that learns itself, machine learning that learns itself. That'll be really brilliant if the tactical part is taken care of by AI. I think there are so many tools that are there out there, and for some odd reason we have that fear for actually embracing these new fancy tools which are AI driven. And I think it's very important for the new UX and UI designers to embrace that. That's number one. And number two is actually there is like the entire VR and AR is very new. That's because of the inaccessibility due to a whole bunch of things, right? So immersive user experiences of sort is something that they should not forget about, because we will pretty much go screenless pretty soon. And when that happens, we got to actually think about audio, immersive videos, gestural, all that kind of stuff. Even if they are not designing for that, they should be aware of what's happening in that field already. I think it's two things. One is that it seriously tries to actually mimic a workflow that happens in the industry today. So it builds from, it's almost like the atomic design. It builds from every element and goes to, from element it moves to how to create the components, how the components are created into patterns, patterns are created into templates, and templates are created into assets, and that's how it's looked at. And that is incremental. So it's based on some very strong frameworks which are applicable like today in the industry immediately. So the biggest thing is the learners who graduate out of and academy will find the fitment very, very quickly in the industry. And that's quite different from a lot of UX courses that are available, whether it's done by larger companies or the smaller companies. That's one. The second important stuff that it is it's cohort based. So people don't learn from the teachers alone, they also learn from other learners who are there along with them, right? So, and it's learning by doing, unlike other online courses which are probably just one way. I think those two things are something that I considered quite a bit while I was structuring this, including how the delivery has to be and how engaging it's got to be.